back. Real with Omar, season 2. Special guest today, Joe Cerbone, the New York mover. You probably seen him on social media. Take a look. Joe, a little bit about how we met first, and then we'll get into it. I actually called Joe, I want to say July 8th this year. He was recommended to me through another associate, a realtor, Bryan Dale. Bryan, shout out to Bryan.
Good.
I needed somebody to help me move in one day because I bought a house in Westchester. I wanted to move from the Bronx to Westchester. I didn't know anybody. We were going to do a U-Haul, and I looked around. I was like, I'm nowhere. I can't get this shit done by myself and my kids. So Bryan was like, yo, Joe's a solid guy. Called Joe. I didn't have a closing date yet. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
I was like, yo, Joe, I
just
just need to know, how many days you need in advance because I want to move it all in one day because you just want to get it done. I'm just, I want to get done. And you were really cool. You were like, yo, just relax. Did we do the video walkthrough of the house?
I don't know if we did the video walkthrough.
Because I was trying to describe everything, and you're like, yo, we usually do a video walkthrough. And I was like,
we may have done the video. I don't think that I was, at the time, I don't think that I was pushing. Now it's company policy. I won't do a move if we don't do a video walkthrough. Okay. If it's a studio or just a couple boxes or something, yeah, no problem. But if it's anything more than a studio, we won't do it.
Really? You just don't take the job?
Yeah, don't take the job. I mean,
okay.
It's like the best thing that ever came out of COVID for as far as I'm
right, video walkthroughs.
Yeah, video walkthroughs. The only good thing that I could say that came out of it was we were forced to do video walkthroughs, and then realized down the line the impact they had on the quality of service, and also the lack of miscommunication because everything is recorded.
Okay, right? So how, let me, now you got my interest peaked now. So how does video walkthroughs help you? Well, let me finish my story first, and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
All right, so closed on a Tuesday, July 18th, I believe. July 19th, you guys were there at the house. You sent me a group of 8 guys, I think. And I'm just illustrating this because I was probably one of the worst clients you ever had because everything with me is on the fly, right? So I'm like, yo, I just got to get it done. How long you think? I was like, I have no idea. I don't care. I'll pay. I want it done. That was my thing. I just have to get it done. Like I have that type of mentality that if I put something on a date, it has to get done or I lose my mind. And we did it. It was like a 9-hour.
I couldn't. I don't
from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to like 6, 7 p.m.
Kind of incredible memory.
Yeah.
You remember the dates?
I was there. I was there the whole date. I mean,
yeah.
I closed on the house that day. Like there was a lot to it. So, and then you looked out. You said you sent the guys back to build the beds for me the next day, free of charge. Shout out. Thank you for that. So
did they come?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the other. There was another. There was a wall unit or something that you called me about like a week or two later. Do you remember that?
No. I think I was missing something, but
no, you don't remember. You were building it in the house, and then I was going to send the guys over. They already rerouted.
Oh,
and you were like,
yeah. It wasn't a wall unit. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was like a dresser.
Right. You're like, I'm not building.
I was just not trying to do that. So then the wife at 4:00, she whips out all the screw guns and screwdrivers, lays them out in the living room. She's like, all right, guys, me and my 2 sons, and all 4 of us did it. It took us like 3 or 4 hours, but. Yeah. I didn't want to, but sometimes you gotta step in. You gotta step in and be the guy. So I stepped in. We built the dresser. All right, so going back to you. So anyway, great, highly recommended by me. I now try to send all my clients to him if they ask me for a mover. Yo, try this guy. I don't talk prices because honestly, I think prices are like the minimal thing at the end when you're moving all your stuff and you don't want to get it damaged and you want to get it within a certain time frame. I think all those things you can't really put a price on, right? Because there's different sales tactics. There's the minimalist with the upsell. It'll be $100. But if you want plastic,
right?
Bubble wrap, that's another $100. Oh, you want tape? That's another $100. Like all that, right? So I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. I just want concierge service. Get it done because that's not my shit. That's your shit. Like my shit is selling, buying houses, finding mortgages, doing that. That's my shit. And I think people get stuck on trying to micromanage those little things, which are important. But if you take yourself away from your money making activity too much, then all of a sudden you really feel it because things aren't moving. As a self-employed person, that's the way I look at things. Other people, I get a day off, I get a paid day off from work. That's a whole different conversation. But I don't have an employer. I'm the employer, so everything, and I'm an owner operator, and I run a team of 10. So if I stop, 10 people stop.
Right.
And to keep momentum going, you got to kind of stay in motion, especially if you're moving. And you know it because you have to command your troops. Like when you guys are out on a job, you're talking to 2 or 3 guys. Meanwhile, 5 other guys keep moving to kind of like relay your message.
Right.
Right.
I find that, so you were saying that you know, you just kind of like said it. And you just want them to, they do what they do, or the company you're hiring does what they do, and then you do what you do, and you just keep it like that. And I totally agree with that. I think that the struggle, the confusion sometimes is like, I don't encourage the people to spend whatever. Right. Because ultimately, I think as a society, we all want to make sure that we're getting the best price that we possibly can. Right. And that's normal, you know, especially in New York too. And we got to watch out, you know, like sometimes, you know, people will, you know, people often are not inherently doing, well, we'd like to hope people are inherently doing the right thing, but sometimes you just got to watch your ass, I guess. Right. So I think it's I think the focus is, let me make sure that doesn't happen again and again and again. So I think the focus is on making sure that, really important, that we figure out ways to reduce the cost of a move by preparing, right? So instead of like cutting corners and getting a cheap mover, right, which is what a lot of people do, and then end up regretting it afterwards because you're buying a service. It's not even a product. It's not any kind of product, right? It's strictly service. So we're paying for service. So if we're cutting corners on service, we're cutting corners on service. So my encouragement is find a mover that's willing to help you prepare for the move and do things to minimize the expenses, right? Small things.
Well, I love what you're doing right now. You started, I don't know if you started the program or just put it, I just saw it on social media the other day, that if you're referred by a realtor, they get like free boxes or something
material,
like that.
Yeah.
Free boxes.
It's a gift. So it's really important to emphasize that it's a gift directly from the realtor, because I'm not, I shouldn't be giving free material to somebody as a, you know, as a referral, and it's not. And I say that to the realtors that I work with. Shout out to all of you guys. That, you know, it really is, it's to give back to local realtors.
Okay.
Period. If someone wants to hire us after that, great. They can ask us for a quote. A lot of people do, but one has nothing to do with the other. I've sent on many occasions, and sometimes people think I'm crazy, just boxes. Never heard from the person ever again. And that's totally fine, right? Not going to bankrupt me. Not going to bankrupt me. It's going to support the local realtor and local realtors have been very supportive to us. Instagram's done a lot, but without the local real estate community, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. You know, and I acknowledge that, and I don't forget it.
Well, like I said, I called Bryan Dale. And the reason I called Bryan Dale, just so to be clear, is that he was a mover. I don't know if you knew that.
I think he might have told me
he
that
was a mover, right? So I'm interviewing him on one of our episodes, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to be a mover, and then I decided, you know, maybe I can do the real estate thing instead." So I thought of him. I was like, I need a mover. He used to be in the game.
Right.
He has to know something, right? So and I hit him up, and he's
fantastic. I really, he's a great.
Brian's go-go. Brian, I like Brian. He's go-go. He's trying to make it happen. Like by any means necessary. He keeps going every day. He's very by the numbers. He has his systems, and he, you know, he's very disciplined with his systems. And that's what I like.
I see him all the time. I watch him all the time. We chat, and we've had a bunch of conversations. And he was actually one of the first people that had supported me when I first got started back in.
Well, let's talk about that. How did you get into moving? Because that's
that's a niche story.
That's a niche. Niche service, right?
I never moved anything a day in my life before, actually. So, no, it's a God's honest truth. I sold cars from when I was 17 till when I was 24.
Where were you from originally?
Born and raised?
Yeah.
I was raised in the Bronx, Tom Parkway.
Okay.
Lived there until I was 9. Moved to Yonkers and been in Yonkers ever since.
Okay.
And at 17 years old, I think that I had stopped going. My mother was like beating me up all out 3 years to go back to school, like literally beating me up, which is okay because she wanted me to be in school, and I think at a certain point it like started to hurt her hand more than it would hurt me if she was
as you get bigger,
right? As you get bigger, you get to the point where it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anymore, and so she was like, "Well, listen, if you're not going to," it was like 11th grade, and I had dropped out, and she said, "If you're not going to go to school, you need to work." Right. And I had always worked in the past, but she was like full time. Full time.
Like a real job.
Like a real job, right? You know, nothing part time to go along with school, full time. So I started doing like little, I was working at a bait and switch. I'm not even kidding you. A bait and switch store. It was a camera store, an electronics store. It was called Nationwide Computers and Electronics.
Where was that? Right? Yonkers?
There was one on Central Avenue in Scarsdale, and then that one closed, and we moved out to the one in Wayne, New Jersey.
Can you explain to people what bait and switch means?
Yeah, so bait and switch is what this is exactly what they did. They would look like, for example, you had like we'll use a phone, but these phones weren't out. So if you had a camera, it was like a Hitachi camera, or this phone, for example, the cheapest you could find the phone anywhere was $900, right? The internet really was not big at all at that time.
Right.
Cheapest you could find the phone at any electronics store was $900. They would have it advertised for $650. Right,
just to get the people in the door.
Just to get the people. There would be a fucking line down the block, around the corner, waiting for this store to open up. On Friday, on Saturday afternoon, because it was a Jewish ran store. A line around the block, and people would come in, and your job was to convince them that it was a Sony they were advertising. Your job was to convince them that the Hitachi was better, and sell it for just $100-$150 more, and your profit margin would be $200-$300, right? And no matter what it would take, that would be your job. Like you'd bet if you were hanging by their legs so that they wouldn't walk out the store with the Sony. That was like your job. It was one hell of an experience. I mean, I'm not happy that I did it, but I shouldn't say that I did learn a lot.
It's an education.
Oh my God.
It's an education, such an education in a way, right?
It's such an education. And, and from there, I think I was done with that. That wasn't like.
How long did that last?
2 years.
Okay.
Like yeah. 2 years probably. Yeah.
And so you cut your teeth on it.
It was my first real job. Yeah. It was my first job. So from there I went to, my father developed a relationship with a general manager who sold him a car at Toyota.
Okay.
So he was like, yeah, my son's looking for a full-time job. And my father got me a job working at Toyota as a car salesman. Okay. Interestingly enough, you'd appreciate this, special finance.
Special finance.
Right. So I would
do you want to elaborate what special financing means?
Right. So we would call them GMDs, get me dones. People that had really bad credit, right? Or like had never paid anything on time in their entire life, right? We would figure a way through proof of income, proof of residence, all things that you're familiar with, of collecting that information and then, working with an underwriter to get them approved.
To give them a reason to give them a loan.
Right. To give them a reason to get them a loan. And the rates were extremely high or whatever it was, but we would get them approved and people knew they were paying for it. And I did really, really well. I did great in the car business. I went from selling new and used cars in special finance to selling new and used cars just across the board. They moved me up to the new car showroom, and I was a top producer in the car business. And I really miss the car business. I love it. Yeah, it's not. People. I'm sure there are used car guys named Joe that are sitting at a used car dealership looking to. But when you're selling new cars, there's I don't know. It's just I really miss that business.
I got to give you one story. So a guy named Hector I used to work with back in the days. He told me he used to work at Potemkin, the big one downtown.
I know Potemkin, yeah.
Right. And he was so bad. I'll say that, bad. Shout out to Hector. And that he would overprice the car, right?
Okay.
So what happened one day was he sold a car, he said, to a guy. And the guy takes the car off the lot. I don't know what he paid, so I'm gonna make numbers up.
Okay.
Right? He paid $85,000. Let's just say that. $85,000 is like a Suburban or some shit. And when the guy was having the car cleaned, the sticker price was in there for like $65,000. So the guy came back and said, I was like, yo, bro, how do you? He's like, they agreed to it. So like, there are sharks. Like you said a couple of things I wanna unpack. You said in New York, yes, I agree with you that you have to be vigilant because people are trying to shoot their shot, make their shot. But if you've been in business long enough, you don't know everything, but you kind of get a feeling. Like I got the house, right? So I had one contract come in recommended by a friend, and his numbers were fucking crazy. So I looked at him, I was like, okay, I'll call you. And I got the next contract. Like I just kind of knew that was crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Did you have a reference point? Did you know what the price would be generally?
No, but installing a sink doesn't cost $2,500. Okay. I looked at it, I was like, really? Is the number you're gonna give me? Okay. And I had somebody else and you install it for $800. Like, like they run double piping, a couple of things, but like you can tell if I believe you're in business. Now, if you have no type of any type of experience with it, I get it. You want to kind of shop.
I totally agree. And I understand, if I understand you correctly, I know generally an idea how long it'll take somebody to do something. So installing the sink, I didn't realize you were talking about I thought you were talking about a whole construction type.
No, the sink was there. We're taking it out, putting a new sink I put in there.
Right. So maybe a half a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as business owners, I'm looking at it and going, okay, if he's paying the guy, if his expenses, if he's $350 for the day for the guy,
right.
you know, with comp and all this other stuff,
his
maybe
labor,
$400 for the day and $200 for the helper, $600, half a day is $300.
Then you get some pipes.
Right. So I can I could see
you get a rough
$1,500 is going to be excessive.
Right.
But I think that what I'm saying is that like with tying it back into why I said that is because you don't want to overpay. Right. And I put out a lot of these posts like saying, you know, like I don't want somebody that's looking for the cheapest mover. Right. So I think my point behind that is that like, you know,
so you just said like an oxymoron there. You know that, right?
Yes,
you don't want to overpay, but you want the cheapest. Right. But explain on that because people don't understand the difference.
Because why cut quality? Why jeopardize quality of service when I could just do a couple things to make someone that is going to do the right thing to make it affordable for me, right? How do I tie that into like purchasing something else, like maybe like a car is a bad example. I was going to say like maybe get a car with like one less feature, but you know, yeah, well, that's
a great example because you can get the X7 that I got with every fucking thing,
right,
and pay $120,
right,
or you can get an X7. I think stripped down $90.
Right, or you could be driving a Volkswagen, a Volkswagen for the same price that has everything.
Right.
So do you want and Volkswagen compared to BMW? There's no comparison.
Right.
So that is actually thank you. That is kind of where I'm heading with it. Is like do some things like just make sure your boxes are packed, or if you want to save, if you're looking to save $200. Don't like look for and you can find a cheaper mover anywhere. Go on Craigslist.
Yeah, shout out to my wife who packed all the boxes because everything was packed. I remember
I think I do remember the guy saying you're super prepared.
Yo, she was like, she was before we closed, she was ready. Like she made it very uncomfortable for me to live where we were living. She was like, yo, we closing day yet? Closing day yet? Every day. I was like, wow, you're the worst client ever.
That I remember. That I remember.
Crazy
was
pressure, man.
The closing was
it moved around a little bit.
That I remember.
Moved around a little bit. Yeah. So all right, so you wanna give people the best deal, but you don't want them to basically just look for the bottom dollar. Like so in my business, right? I'm big on customer experience, CX, right? CS, client service is one thing. Like service is what you give. The experience is how they remember you. And I had a strong conversation with one of my clients last night. I'm using strong as the adjective because she came out, she's under a lot of stress. She had a TOE letter out, time is of the essence letter out in a property in New Jersey. And she's like, oh, it's not my fault. Why is it taking so long? I was like, and I told her, yo, it's absolutely your fault because you keep changing everything. Right. Oh, I want to add my wife. I don't want to use this insurance. You keep changing. The more you keep changing, the more you delay it.
Right.
And it's like telling me, I want to close yesterday. All right, well, this is what we have. Let's close right now. No, wait. I want to add my wife to title. Okay, I want to use this LLC, not that LLC. These things take time, and people don't understand that. All that takes time. The same way I'm asking you to move my house, but I'm not packed. So you gotta have 8 guys come in and put all my clothes away for me? Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, yo, why is it taking 2 days, Joe? Why is it taking 2 days? And you'd be like, yo, I had to pack your fucking socks.
So
you ever had that conversation?
I've had that conversation a million times with my old company. Here's what I tried to do. And I was actually thinking about this morning. It's funny we're talking about. With the old business, I tried to accommodate people that were looking for a cheaper mover.
Okay.
Right. And what happened was for a while it was sustainable. Right.
Okay.
I was a cheaper mover. I was competing with other movers. Right. Mm-hmm. It was sustainable. I spun my wheels. I got to a point where I could no longer handle it.
So grinding.
Right. And I was doing. I was burnt out. And when you're burnt out, how can you be patient and understanding and willing to so after a certain amount of time, I went from a 5-star mover to like a 2-star mover.
Oh.
Right? And it was the worst experience I ever had in my life. I never wanted again. I had no interest. I would walk away from the moving business and never deal with that again. So my policy, the way that I approach my business today is I said to a guy the other day, I don't want unhappy customers. I don't have unhappy customers. I don't know what an unhappy customer is.
Right.
Because if you're unhappy, I make you happy. And that's the experience they're paying for.
Right.
So do you want that experience? Let me help you figure out how to prepare for your move to reduce the cost a little bit. And I tell people all the time, we're not the most expensive mover. I could give you a list of 15 movers in the county that are more expensive than us. Mm-hmm. But I'm not your cheap mover. If you're looking for a cheap price, I'm just not the mover for you.
Right. If that's your thing.
If that's what drives you, right. Is looking for, because I don't provide a cheap service. I don't know what a cheap service is. Yeah. I don't, the service we give is 100%.
And just to be clear, I didn't know what you charged me until after we moved.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, yo, what do I owe you?
Yeah. So we don't actually get pinpointed into. I have a service charge, a fee to arrive, like a travel time, and then the hourly rate. I let people know from the beginning, if at any time throughout the move, we are not exceeding your expectations. I don't want to hear just good. Mm-hmm. Good is not enough, right? Mm-hmm. If we're not exceeding your expectations, pick up the phone immediately and call me.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the end of the move. Nothing I can do. If you call me and somebody is not exceeding your expectations, I'll come by their nose hair and I'll pull them off the move. It's not going to happen.
Right.
You know, and the result of however long it takes is a result of the circumstances that you have in your move, how prepared you are. So let's go back and get you prepared for your move to minimize the amount of time we're there. I don't care if we're there for 3 hours. I'm happy. I'm in and out. I'm getting paid the 3 hours, the rate that I want to get paid for the 3 hours, right? And then we're out. We're done. Doesn't need to be a 4, 5, 6 hour move. Let's figure out a way to get it to 3. Right. But I think the common mistake in the moving industry is, I'm going to figure out how to get it to the number that I want it to get. And even if it takes 4 or 5 hours, that's fine. Right. But all that I'm doing then is I'm just hiring the cheapest labor that's out there. And that's the mistake.
Cheap isn't skilled. Cheap is just cheap.
Right. You can go get day labor.
It's like it's like saying, I want you to build out this this high end whatever in my house.
Yeah.
Oh, you charge too much. Let me get this guy down the block. He might be able to build it, but the acoustics might not be right. The material, he might not know the details of what material you need to use, things like that. So there's a lot of nuances to it.
There 100%. And there are situations where people very well might be do great with the day labor. Mm-hmm. I encourage it.
If they want to be the GC mover, if they want to be the guy there all day.
Or even more so if they have shit that's not worth anything. If I don't care about if I just have shit anyway that's like a bunch of IKEA stuff, and no offense to anybody that's got IKEA stuff, I have IKEA, but if it's all, if they don't really, if they don't care if it gets broken, or you're a single guy, you don't have a wife and kids, you don't care who's coming into your house or who knows where you live or where your shit is, right? Hire a day labor. What the hell do you need a professional mover for? Right. I agree.
Right.
But don't come to me with a 4-bedroom house, right, with a wife and kids and this nice stuff, and then and then be looking to pay the same that a day labor. I can't do it. Of course I would love to, but I'm not, like I said, I will not go back to spinning my wheels because it's impossible to deliver outstanding service and be spinning your wheels at the same time. It doesn't exist. I tried it.
They don't coexist well. Yeah,
they don't. I would never talk bad about any I don't like to talk bad about any of the movie companies by name specifically. I wouldn't do that. I think it's tasteless, but I'll give a generality. Just there's a company that their whole objective is to be the absolute cheapest mover. And the guy wants to just continue to grow and grow and grow and have all tremendous volume, right? Just huge volume. He wants to be doing 200-300 moves a day on the weekend.
Jesus.
Right. And that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's great. Right. But what is behind the scenes on that is the company has one of the highest claims ratios in the industry.
Suing them?
Well, a lot of people filing claims for damaged items. Lawsuits, I don't know. I can't speak of. I don't know the internal, part about that. But what I can say is that they have an entire department dedicated to people filing claims. Things are damaged. They have to take pictures. They have to fill out a form. They have to get with the clams representative. The claims representative's got to do an investigation. They got to go back and forth. And this is a process that gets carried out. Yeah. Yes, and it's a standard part of the moving industry is having a claims department. We don't have a claims department.
Right.
Something we don't have a claim. I invest to make sure that the possibility of a claim is minimal to zero, right? And if there is a claim, we fix it, move on, done. I'm not dragging it out to minimize our losses, right?
I get it.
So there's you could sign up for either one of those, and I choose to be on the just on the other side of that.
Well, we're a little bit over. Let's go back. Hold on.
Okay.
So you're selling cars.
He keeps me.
I know. I'm sorry. We're selling cars. So now what? Okay. Now we're selling cars. We're at the top of the Toyota. Yeah, at the Toyota with the top sales guy.
Yeah.
So what happens?
I always wanted to go work at Yonkers Honda. That was your goal? That was my goal.
That was like my life goal. 23?
I was 22. Yeah, 22, 23.
Yeah.
But Yonkers Honda was notorious for treating their salespeople right, for having their salespeople there making $300,000-$400,000 a year.
Wow, killing it.
Killing.
And Honda's back then the shit.
Right. Honda's is still I think it's a fantastic. I mean, it's not a luxury car, but it's a reliable car. It lasts forever.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just a nice dealership, and the owner is really, really nice. He's a great guy. He's still to this day, I think he's a great guy. One of my closest friends is the general manager there, who I really love. We don't talk all that often, but I really love him. Shout out to Gregory. And I tried to get in there when I was like 20, and I was like, hey, look at my resume, look at what I'm doing.
Killing it.
Right, I'm killing it. And they were like, get out of here, kid. You're 20 years old, shoot. And I was like, all right, and he was like, come back when you're a little older. I'm like, all right.
What, 21?
Right. So that's what I went to work at the new car Toyota showroom on Central Avenue in Yonkers. And I was a top producer there. Not their top producer. I mean, I was 22 years old. I was partying on the weekends like a rock star.
Yeah, you were hanging out.
But I was hanging out. But I was doing I was
making money.
I was making a dent, where they were noticing.
But at 21, you're making money.
I was making tons of money, and I was up there. I was up there, right?
Yeah.
I was up there. I was one of the higher producers, and but I had a great. What I did was I was very organized. So I would have all my deals structured with a copy of the customer's driver's license and their finance application and their purchase order.
Oh, so you went through smooth.
And my CSI score, so my customer satisfaction score that I got back when Toyota did their survey, I would have it stapled together, itemized in binders.
So you super
by
organized.
months, right? So I walked into Honda at like 23 years old with the whole book. And I said, here, look, do you want a resume? This is my resume. Right. And they hired me, right? Okay, cool. And I worked there. I loved it. I mean, Honda was, I was making six figures a year at 23, 24 years old.
Super young, yeah.
Super young. And we're also talking in 2005. So, and so I worked there for a couple of years. And I think a friend of mine, this is the funny story to get ties into how I started moving.
Okay.
A friend of mine I grew up with, his name was Louis. He was one of my closest friends. His brother did a long time in jail.
Okay.
His brother got home from jail, and Louis always said, don't trust my brother. Do not trust my brother. I don't care. Don't trust my brother. Don't trust my brother. But his brother had started.
Joey, my brother's going to call you. Don't trust him.
So his brother, for like a year, I knew had got out of jail and was working with a moving company.
Okay.
Right. And he had a friend that was in the moving business, blonde hair, blue eyed guy named Bryan. Also, shout out to Bryan, who I love very much. And they were working at this moving company, and Steve decided to start his own moving company. Right. So and he brought Bryan along with him because Bryan was like the salesperson and was like a pretty face and
people liked him.
Right. Bryan was very personal.
He'll close the deals.
And Steve would manage the guys.
Right. He's the grunt worker.
Right. So I saw them doing their thing. They were advertising at the time in the Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages was very big. It was before you were doing internet. Yeah. Everything was Yellow Pages. So you put a full page ad in the Yellow Pages back then, and your phone wouldn't stop ringing all day long. You would no matter where you would do it. So they did like, I don't know, 50, 60 books, right? All those small towns and villages around Westchester and Rockland County, and his phone was ringing all day long, and they were busy.
And that's before text messaging, before emails.
I believe so. I don't know if I think text messaging might have been. I think text messaging might have been around.
I think text messaging got really big once the smartphone hit, because I think before, back in the day, you used to press the letter 3 times. Remember that?
Right.
How long would it take you to make a text message?
I don't remember time frame. I know that the internet was definitely not was just
starting.
Google Ads wasn't even out yet.
Right.
That I know for sure. It was not out. Right. So we're
talking about 2000, 2001, 2002, because 05. The iPhone came out 07, I think.
But when did Google Ads? I think Google
early 2000s. That's when it kind of started.
Google Ads started.
Yeah, the use of the internet in 99, 2000.
You know what, you're right. Because in 2008, I think I did my first Google Ads campaign. So maybe Google Ads started to become relevant in like 2004. It just started to kick off in the early 2000s. So the Yellow Pages was very prominent still then.
Right. That was the real estate you wanted to get. Right.
And they were doing a lot of business, and Steve was coming around, and he knew I was a top producer in the car business. And
was he buying a lot of cars?
No, he just knew, I would hang out with Louis. They would play some card games together and hang out there. And Steve came around and he said, I want you to, he's like, I want you to become a partner in this business.
You think your friend is in the back of your head, don't trust my brother.
Right, but I don't listen. When somebody tells you to do something, you do the opposite, especially as a kid.
I'm listening.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm like, he's driving a flashy car, but it didn't, I was making a ton of money.
Right.
But
so there was no need.
There was no need, but I was thinking, and then right at the same time, I asked for a vacation. I hadn't taken vacation in a year, and the owner was like, no. And,
wow.
and I was like, wanted to go on vacation with my dad. You know, it's like the first time I ever went anywhere with my father, like that out of the country.
Right.
I've gone places, obviously, with my father, and the owner was like, no. And I was just like, you know what, man, like this is why, you know,
that's why I can't fuck with the man.
Right. Well, this is why you need to be. This is why I wanted to be for independent. You know. So I like gave my 2-week notice. Right. Not in a bad way. Just like, hey, you know, I give my 2-week notice because I had already made the decision that I said to Steve, this guy Steve, okay, I'll go a third.
I'm in.
I'll put in we worked out something that seemed like, well, I think it was like that I put 2 trucks into the business that I own outright, that I bought, right, and give them like 15 grand.
That was the equity, right?
Right. That was what I would buy in, right? So I'm thinking 2 trucks is I own 1/3 of those trucks.
Right.
They're only going to help the business. Right. The money that I'm putting in is 15 grand, so that's going
which is not going to kill you,
right? Which is not going to kill me, and so I put it in, and I was like, I forget if we signed anything or didn't sign anything. I didn't sign the trucks over to him yet. I just gave him the 15 grand. I was like, 15 grand, whatever. When I started working in the business after I got back from vacation,
what was your position there? Like,
I would have been a third owner.
Right, but like one guy's selling, one guy's telling the
right.
guy.
I think it was more to look at how things could improve in sales and marketing and that kind of stuff, and you know, just find my niche, and what I could do to be. You know, I was also a kid, so
young,
right? No business plan, no nothing, no, and not that I'm encouraging business plans. I'm just saying that there was no thought process behind it, which is
just
a good
like
point.
fucking I'm in,
just fucking I'm in, and when I got there, I realized. I said to him, I realized what he told me was happening was not what was happening. There were Better Business Bureau complaints. There were lawsuits. I walked into the warehouse, and the warehouse had there was furniture that was shrink wrapped in piles with like dog shit next to it and like leaks in the ceiling next to it.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh man, this is not what I signed up for.
This is not quality control.
Right. And I pulled him aside and I said, Steve, look, I can help fix these things, right? I can help figure out ways to fix these, but this is not the picture you painted for me. Like, you know, and like, you know, for me to give you 15 grand and put these 2 trucks, like we have to renegotiate this, right? Because this is a lot more work for me here. Right. I'm not getting involved in something that's already in the right
direction.
Right. You might be making money, but you're not, it's not going to last long. Right. So he's like, well, then you don't fucking come in. And I said, okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Give me my money back. I hadn't signed over the trucks yet.
Right, luckily.
Because they were like $25,000 a piece, right? Yeah. So I hadn't signed over the trucks, the title of the trucks. And you know, Steve did the right thing. You know, I was surprised. I have to say, I didn't, you know, but he did, you know, and you know, I think I proved Louis wrong a little bit, you know, and I think we all deserve a second chance in life, whatever we did in the past, you know, but he did do the right thing, you know, and he ended up paying me the money back. I think we were playing a card game and I got pissed at him at the card game at the end. It was like the last $1,000 he was going to pay me back. I was like, you know what? It's not worth to sit here to look at you for another $1,000. Like take the 1,000, which I regret, you know, I regret. I do like Steve. I don't,
no beef with Steve.
No beef with Steve. Yeah. No, I mean, I love his brothers. Like, you know, is literally a brother to me, you know, so there's definitely no beef with Steve. He's, you know, and he did the right thing. What can I say? You know, all
right. So he said, all right, don't be here. So what'd you do? You ended up starting your own good business right there.
So that's why.
Like, so you have 2 trucks.
So I had a second truck on the way. I had 1 truck for $25,000 that was already fully paid out. Right.
So you invested already.
Right. Invested in it. So he was starting to give me my money back, and I was sitting with a friend of mine, Aaron, and we were in my house, and I was like, what do I do, man? I quit my job. I'm like, I got this check for
truck in my driveway.
This truck for 25 grand in my driveway. I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, just start your own. And I was like, yeah, fuck it.
You think so?
Yeah. So we were like, fuck it. So we just came up with this. We came up with a clever name. For the business, and I started Google ads right away to try to see what worked. And I thought the first client I got through Google ads, I thought was my friend Aaron pranking me.
Really?
So I was on the phone like, Aaron, cut the shit, bro. Like, I know it's you, and it's like some customer on the other line.
My name is Kathy.
Right? I'm like, cut the shit. I know it's you. Stop it. And he's like, no, seriously, like I want to move. I'm like,
I'll pay you.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like, I just paid money and I got a call. Like, it's that it worked.
Great.
It works. It works. And that was my first experience with it. And I like the moving business. I had talk about experience. You know, I saw it all. You know, you hear these horror stories about people getting their stuff hijacked and ripped off, and you know, and I've seen it all. I mean, I've seen the worst stories.
So you went from a car salesman to opening up your own moving company.
Yeah.
Never working in a moving company before. So you learned it all on your own. You kind of basically
Yeah,
paid the dues.
I was lucky enough to get a couple guys from Steve's company as Steve's company started to close down.
Oh, okay.
A couple of guys left there, and they were the good guys from there.
Right. You got the good talent.
Right. There was like not much good talent over there, but there were a couple guys that were really the only thing that held them together. Right. And one of them is still with us to this day.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love him.
Was he on my move?
Jeffrey looks like Biggie Smalls.
Yeah. I had to help him a little bit. Yeah, he's good. He was
amazing. Yeah.
Big dude. Yeah, I liked him.
He's great. So he came over and he, between him and I, he showed me a lot. Then we started training more people and we grew. My last business had 2 locations, had 60 employees.
What last business was it? It's not the New York Mover.
Not the New York Mover.
What was that?
MoveOurStuff.com.
MoveOurStuff.com.
Yeah.
What happened with that business? What?
Oh man. I mean, like I said, it was a 5-star. We went from
a deep breath.
No, we went from the truth is the truth. We went from a 5-star mover. I dibbled down to like a 3.5-star mover. I went back up to a 5-star mover. My father got sick with liver cancer. Okay. My mother got sick. I started using drugs and alcohol.
Right, because you're trying to cope with all this stuff.
Yeah, I think I think that was my excuse for a while. And I don't know. I've said this before. I don't know what effect the death of my parents had on alcoholism or drug addiction in my life, right? But I know one thing that it definitely did, which was it made me like that feeling of like, you don't understand what I went through, right? Which creates more separation, which I believe for an alcoholic or an addict is inherently a big part of the problem is isolation, separation. I'm different, they're better than me. They're not as good as me. All these thoughts.
Right.
So sort of like these.
Well, you're trying to numb something, right? And so you're numbing the pain, and then that creates the isolation because you don't identify with anybody.
Right. I don't. For sure. It made me feel more. But I don't know if it caused it. I don't think it caused it because I had that in my life from when I was younger. And like I said, partying on the weekends. Yeah. Working full time, you party hard, you work hard, play. What's that expression?
Work hard, play hard. But you were functioning. But the thing becomes like one thing I've noticed in life where my mother, she suffered 3 strokes in 2017. I didn't go that way, but I was kind of numb. I was kind of like, I don't know if you ever get hit with a bat or something like that. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but like you get hit with something like, and you like
100%. I identify with that.
And you're like kind of walking, but you're kind of like in a fog because you're just walking.
I identify with that 100%. So, you put it right on the money. So
it's like because there's something that shattered your life, and you're just like you still have to maintain movement, but you're just not actually consciously in the movement anymore. You're just kind of walking, going through the motions.
I think 100%. I think that when my father passed away, I still had my mother was still alive,
right?
And then there's some reason for like okay, now I'm gonna be closer with my mother and, and be there for her and just try to, push on. I don't want to be like a textbook story where you like crumble, know?
Understood.
And I dove back into the business and I had a lot of friends and family surrounding me. And then, slowly my mother started getting sick. Yeah. And for like 2 or 3 years, she was suffering. And then she wound up in the hospital for like a year straight, in and out. And that just took such a toll on her. And then me watching it just kept beating me down to the point that I think, then I felt like, I'm like an only child. So I felt like, and I don't think that was the case, but that I felt like I was all alone in that process, know? And the truth was I don't remember asking for help at all. Right. I tried to take charge of it on my own.
This is my responsibility.
Right. And I think that, you mentioned it, like the baseball bat thing, like sitting there watching somebody you love deteriorate in front of you, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. It's just like, it felt like the world was closing down around me. So that exasperated the drug and alcohol use for sure, into where it was not just a weekend type thing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of people don't talk about is, and I can share this with you because I haven't lost my mother yet. She's alive, thank God. But like what happens is that, you feel there's a lot of guilt involved for whatever reason. Like I can't help, and you gotta like sometimes objectively look at it like, I'm not a fucking superhero. Like I'm a human, and the most I can do is what I'm doing. And there has to be that revelation to yourself, because nobody can tell you that. Nobody can say, hey man, Joe, just chill. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to kind of self-close, like to use a sales metaphor, you have to close yourself on that. And that became a thing for me too, because look, if there's an issue, you know, anybody in the business, they call me because they want me to solve a problem. So like when I'm looking at my mother's issue, I was trying to solve a problem sometimes. So at the end, I was like, yo, I got to kind of just mitigate this problem. I got to like give her quality of life and have some sort of life. And then, you know, I have a sister. There's family that I have to kind of, and I'm the oldest. So, you know, as the oldest, the patriarch, you kind of like, yo, listen, you're good. And everybody's processing in their own way, you know? So it becomes it's something that nobody can tell you. People can give you guidance, but you have to like get to that point where you're okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever you had to go through to help get you there is you.
Yeah. The guilt is, you're right. My experience with the guilt is, and you know, from both my mother and my father, is no matter how much we do or don't do, there will always be, I could have done more. There will always be that guilt. And that, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And I learned that through beating myself up and literally going through, you know, tormenting myself with guilt, shame, and remorse on the way that I handle things. Is there was nothing that, you know, even looking back at my father, like I felt like I could have done more. And I think that's inherently, I think that's a human.
It's human nature. As somebody
Yeah.
that wants to be like nurturing, but the second part of that is the part that I had to like understand. Maybe this will help you. At what price, right? So I was doing certain things to maintain my mother like that, but I was destroying myself. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't this. I was that. I wasn't doing any drugs stuff like that. But I was like a zombie. You know, I go to work, do this, go there, like go in the morning, go see her, work 14-hour days, then go see her at night, and then not sleep, and then not train, not take care of her, like, you know, like. And at a point, my wife told me, she's like, listen, you know, I'm with you, I get it,
Right.
but you know, you have 2 kids here, you have 3 kids, and you know, I'm here, and you're not here. You haven't been here for 2 years, and you know, like that becomes a thing. It's like, yo, this is gonna be a long-term thing,
Right?
So how do I live with it, right? And with your mother, it was finite, so you wanted to go hard as much as you could.
Right, and spend as much time, I think.
Because you feel like you're trying to catch up. You're trying to make up for something.
I also didn't have, I think having a support system is really important. And whether that be like in your case, you had your wife and your kids, or whether that be an outside resource, right? There are, I'm sure, organizations for people that have either lost someone or that are going through, you know, I think asking for help is is really, really important. And being around people who've been through it is really important.
And knowing that you need help. That
right. I didn't know. Yeah.
Because everybody feels like, yo, I can take care of it.
Right. It's my mother. It's my responsibility.
I'm gonna internalize it.
Right.
I'll be all right.
Yeah. She was, I moved her in to my house. Right. You know, she lived in the downstairs apartment, and we had somebody there to take care of her. But I can't, you know, also going through addiction and alcoholism, that deal around the same time. It's a very, it's just very interesting that it all kind of combined at the same time.
At the same time.
It was, you talk about hitting a low.
Right.
You know, when she had passed away, I remember thinking like, if you're like this, well, she passes away, you're going to want to kill yourself. Like I can't sit here and be, you know, like, how did you get here?
Right.
You know, you weren't raised like this. Like like your parents were
should
amazing.
know better.
Right. Like it was not, you know, okay, you wanted to play around when you were younger, like fine.
Hang out.
How did I end up here? Right. And then, I remember thinking that, and I tried my hardest to stop, right. To completely stop. And when I did stop, I remember I couldn't get out of bed. I had soul crushing anxiety and depression. I was able to get out of bed maybe for like an hour. I tried to go soul cycling, and I would cry in the parking lot, soul cycling. Right. After, you know, soul cycle, and then I would just go home. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't make it to work. Whatever was left of the business, that's how we got into.
So at the time, the business was still going, but you could only pay attention so much because your head wasn't there.
Right. So when my father passed, the second location closed. Went back up to the warehouse. We had a 15,000 square foot warehouse, huge warehouse, and I went up there to try to dive into that, and things kept getting. I kept digging myself a deeper and deeper hole, as far as drugs and alcohol are concerned, and just, you know, not doing things right. You know, so I left. I started spending less and less time once my mother started getting sick. Sicker. I started spending less and less time because, you know, it was like a 45-minute travel from my work from my house. And I was just like, no,
you don't want to be away.
Right. Yeah. I didn't want to be away. And So I paid less attention to that. And then when I tried to stop to like realize like, oh, you got to get back in the office, I couldn't function like to go into work. I couldn't. Everything was like anytime I tried to fix a problem, I caused another problem. Literally, you weren't seeing things. I was emotionally a wreck. I was emotionally a wreck, and I also couldn't face anything. So slowly that deteriorated to the point that I was just like, what am I holding on to? Like, I don't want to provide bad service, you know. And then if you let other people around you are seeing what's going on, and then sometimes people end up they don't care.
Well, every time, like I talked to a couple of my friends, right, or owner operators and stuff like that. I think the team always needs a leader, right? Everybody comes off your vibe. Like I was talking to another guy the other morning. I'm like, look, I got to get my companies going. Like it was a funny thing, but he understood because he's in the same kind of boat. I said, look, I got to get my companies going. Let me hit you back after I get everybody going.
Right.
And people don't understand that part. As an owner operator, as you being the brand, they don't understand. Like your team cares as much as you care. They're not going to care more.
Right.
That's the unfortunate truth. But they're not the owner.
Right.
But
that's true.
Right. They go by your culture,
true.
right? Yo, I care about this. If you don't give a fuck, they're like, oh fuck, you don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I get paid Fridays, right? That's the ultimate.
I like
joke.
that. They'll care as much as you care.
Never more. But because you're like, yo, this is important to me. This is my name. Like I had one guy who kind of left the client in the lurch, stopped answering phone call, a real estate sales guy. I'm like, yo, dude, Hudson, they know me. They know Hudson. They don't know you.
Right.
So now I got to do it, which is okay. But let me know. See, the thing is, what people don't understand is I just need to know what you're doing so I know how to move, right? As the owner, as the omniscient, omnipresent, you just ask your employees, what are you doing so I know what I got to do? Because if you're taking care of that, there's a million other things to do. If I don't have to worry about that one thing, okay, let me turn my attention to this. But sometimes they don't get that. They think because they're only responsible for this, that, like if I don't do it, it doesn't matter. And it does matter because the little things matter.
But that's what, so I agree with you on that, but I think that's what, so I focus on all of those things. And I think you focus on, if I understood you correctly, on different aspects that are not just your core, like your chore for the moment.
Correct.
Like you're looking at all other avenues that could go wrong or worrying about how to prevent things from happening. Right. And I think that's the struggle as a business owner is that I hear Gary Vee talk about this, right? Which is like people will only do what, like people have a task and like, that's what they're there for. And to try to, like fit a square into a circle, fit a circle into a square. Same thing. Right. Yeah. It's not going to happen. Right. And because they'll never show up like you'll show up or they'll care as much as you do, but we're like constantly, all right, I want to make sure this doesn't happen because I don't want that to happen to the customer. I don't want them to experience
because we're kind of like seeing it from an overview and we care so much. We're like, we are willing to do more without being asked. And I think that's a major differentiator between an owner and just an employee. And I've been an employee. Like when I first started in the mortgage business, I worked at a bank. Right. But the turning point for me one time was, it was like 5 years in the game, and one of the clients called me up, Spanish dude, and he goes, "Oh, Luis, do I make the check out to you?" I'm like, "What check?" You're like, "I didn't know what the fuck he's talking about." Right. He goes, "The mortgage check. I gotta pay you, right? You're the bank." No, but I was like, no.
If you want to.
No. Yeah. No, I was like, no, you pay Citibank. I sent him the thing. I was like, but I was like, damn, this motherfucker doesn't even know that he's paying a bank. All he knows is Louis.
Right.
That's all they know. Right. So that's where the revelation came to me, where I was like, shit, I built a brand. Like, people fuck with that. I could be selling fucking hot dogs, right? But because I'm selling it, they want to come to that, and that becomes where you transcend as just a mover, and you become an experience company. And that's the part where I think that you haven't touched upon yet, because you don't want to function in the dollar and cents, because the dollar and cents is the minutia. And I'm not saying you overcharge everybody, right? But I tell a client, like if it's a client that who if I can close this deal, nobody else in America can close. I'm like, look, this is the fee, and they're more than happy to pay for it. Right. It's almost like a get it done loan, but we're not doing those crazy rates. Right. We just have to move the pieces in place in a certain sequence for the bank to see it the way we want to see it. And the same thing with moving, whereas I want to move. All right, did you pack your house yet? I got to pack. I thought you did that. Right. Well, that's an extra 5 hours. Oh, why? Well, why is that costing you? Because I got to pack your fucking socks. Like like the minutia is what people seem to not understand.
People with packing boxes, a lot of people do get that. They do know. I think it's more, what is that people don't realize? that I think, as far as box packing in advance, people do.
You don't have an issue with that?
I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
No, there are certain things that people like, okay, here's a good point. You're
Shout out
right.
to my wife because she did all the packing.
Right.
Okay.
You're right. He did that twice. He's just pointing
just letting
out.
you know, Meg. I know. I respect you.
I think there is a portion of that where you're right. I've seen people throw stuff in plastic bags.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And I'm like, we can't
stack that.
Right. That's exactly.
I remember
the
conversation you told us.
It's because you can't stack plastic bags, anything on top of them.
They fall all over the place.
You can't stack, so it's just hard. It's just, and then your plastic bags rip and your clothes are all over the place. I mean, that takes longer to pick up that stuff. Like it's the same amount of time to put in a box.
It's like a game of Tetris.
It is a game of Tetris.
When you're playing in the
Right.
fucking truck. Because when I started seeing, you guys move my clothes, you guys move some furniture, you guys move my weights, which was like dope. I was like, you busted down my rig, put it in there. My assault bikes, my basketball court, all that shit went in the truck, which was fucking impressive. But I remember that, and I'm like, yo, you're moving a fucking house. Like, I was like 600 pounds in weights. Like these guys are moving them. I felt bad, but I'm like, I don't want to move them.
Was it hot that day? I don't know.
Oh, it was fucking hot. It was summertime. And I put the ACs on the house so that they wouldn't die from being outside all day.
Yeah, that's very nice. There's imagine going up 5 flights of stairs in Manhattan.
Hell no.
On a day like that, 5 flights of stairs. So that's another thing. That's why I was thinking about this too the other day. Is like, having good movers is important, right? Very important. I mean, you can't do it without good movers, but I think the way that the jobs are structured is like the key,
right?
Because if you understaff, if you need more guys and you put less, they're gonna burn out. When they burn out, what happens? They get tired. When they're tired,
they get sloppy
and things damage.
Yeah.
Moves take long. Move was 9 hours is a long day.
And we had 8 people.
Right. 9 hours is a long day. Did we have 8 or 6? I don't remember.
8. It was 8. Okay. I was like, as many as it takes.
Right.
Wait, let's go back though. All right, so.
Oh, see, it's keeping me on.
Yeah, mom got sick. Eventually she passes.
Right.
So moveyou.com, that was it?
Move our stuff.
Moveourstuff.com. When you're like, you have to let this go? It's getting too crazy. What makes that decision?
I think I realized that there was no way that I was going to change this company back to a 5. Like the uphill battle was too far. No, really what was more important was I realized that if I was going to overcome alcoholism, if I was going to tackle this thing, it had to become the most important thing.
So this became self-realizing. Nobody came and said, yo, what are you doing?
Well, no, there were some indications. There were people, like your friends start to separate themselves from you.
Okay.
Even no matter how good the friends are, at a certain point you're like crazy. People are like, I remember I was thinking about that this morning also, which is like,
I thought this morning.
You think a lot while you're in the shower, so don't try to picture that at home. So, no, I was really making irrational decisions. Just wild decisions, wild thoughts. You're not like, how did I get here kind of deal. And you don't even realize it. Like there's this acronym in recovery. It's like denial. It's like, I don't even know that I'm lying.
Wow. Okay.
I had no clue. Right.
Okay.
And, your friends are like, and then you start to blame them and you're like, well,
fuck them.
Right. Look at them leaving, but then after, I think the realization for me came when I was like, I don't know, it was probably my bedroom. And I think I realized like, it can't be all of them that are the problem.
Can't be everybody else.
Can't be everybody else that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm the only right one. And that was like, that was like that moment. And I think it was like my friend Musa was like, Joe, I can't be around you anymore. My friend Kim at the same time. It was like a couple months after my mother passed. And it was just, it dawned on me. And I was like, that was the lowest point. How was the lowest point? And I didn't know. I just like, I literally dropped to my knees and started praying. It was like,
wow.
I was like in tears, and like, and I had not, at this point, like you're like, you watch your mother and your father deteriorate and you don't want to have anything to do with God. Like what is, like, where's God?
Shooken, right?
Right. Where was God in that? Where is God in this picture watching them suffer like that? Like, why would they suffer? So I was really, shooken is a very, my belief is shooken is a very, very good. Yeah. And, it was that was like that moment, and I don't think, I think the company was kind of like the last thing. It got to the point where there was like a couple, like there was a couple people in the office. We were doing maybe, a couple jobs a week. And I was just like, they knew, the office knew, and I knew. And then, I shut my phone off. I went for treatment. Yeah. I shut my phone off, which was like one of the fears I had. Like, oh, how am I going to make money? How am I going to do this? And I remember some guy saying to me, like, what does it matter? You're giving all that away anyway. You're not going to have any of that. Look back years now. You've been giving that away slowly.
Yeah.
You're worried about holding on to that.
It's been escaping you.
It's worried about holding on to your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Reset.
Yeah. There's another like there's a guy in recovery and he says, they ask him like, what do you do for friends? What do you do for money? I stay sober. I stay, if I'm not sober, I don't have friends. I don't have money.
Right.
That's what you want to know what I do for friends. I stay sober.
Right. That's extreme, but it's noted for that
for
situation.
someone in that situation. For someone in that situation, absolutely, because you can't keep friends or money or a job or relationships.
Because you're not you. You're the product of a substance that's altering you. So that you become a different version of you, right?
100%.
So all right, so you go in, you do what, 30, 45 days?
I did. I tried doing inpatient a couple times.
Right.
I signed myself out AMA, against medical advice.
Yeah.
And I ended up crashing, right? Burning out, financially burnt out, spiritually, mentally, physically burnt out, everything.
Just
Drained. And I showed up on the steps of a 12-step program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I met some people there that, started to have their hand out and were really just giving away what was given to them freely.
That's dope.
And they thank God for those for those people. I think at that point I needed tough love.
Okay.
I needed somebody to be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, somebody be objective.
Not saying that works for everybody.
No,
I've tried that.
Negative reinforcement works for certain people,
Right.
And I think it's a certain generation.
Also, I believe like guys like, how do you tell somebody who's running their own business, who has got a team of 10 people, who's, like, how do you say somebody who's used to directing the show for so long, like, no, do it. Like I can't be told like, maybe you should do it.
Yeah,
like, no.
It has to be firm.
Right. It has to be like, no, asshole. Like, you're
Stop.
gonna, right.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like that. I mean, they weren't like, no, asshole.
No, I get it. But look, like I said, all right, so positive reinforcement is, hey, you're doing a great job. Let's try this.
Right.
Negative reinforcement is like, that didn't work.
Right.
And negative reinforcement is not, to me, negative. Like, I believe that. Look, I come from a generation where I get my ass whipped all the time, right? So negative reinforcement used to be like, I turn around and get smacked.
Yeah, me too.
So, but we react to it differently because it's not as extreme as that.
Right.
But we understand, all right, like, you just need to change your vision. Positive reinforcement, I believe, works with the more coddled, where they're, they don't have that preface, like where they have that type of relationship with their mother or their father.
Right.
So now you're kind of like, now if they never had to do that, then they're just gonna fucking shut down because
which happens.
Yeah,
you're right.
Because believe it or not, when we're younger, you're just so much more resilient to that shit because you don't know any better. So you're like, oh shit, okay, let me stop. Right. When I mean, my kids, they don't react well to that shit at all.
Negative reinforcement?
Yeah, because my wife is like, no, we got to talk to him like this, and then sometimes I try, but then eventually I lose my shit,
right.
And then all right, daddy's not playing anymore. But that's not the regular. When I grew up, that was the go-to. There was never no, let's try this way. It was always like, whoosh,
right.
I totally stop.
Me too.
You're like, oh shit, my eye. So I think that's why maybe negative reinforcement works. It's more fucking succinct. It's like, hey, no, this.
For that personality type. But yeah, and also, I remember one thing I talked about is like, I walk into these rooms and there's like a 25-year-old guy, who's still living at home with his parents, who he's like, I've got to like find out. I have to like listen to him. Not not a bad thing. And for me, it was kind of like a learning curve. Like, what is this guy going to be able to teach me?
What can you teach me? Right.
I had my own house at 24 years old. I had my own business, 2 locations.
We'll go back to like all these life coaches trying to hit me up on LinkedIn saying, I want to teach you. And I'm like, I'm not asking to be taught anything. I'm still learning. Right.
But that was a humbling experience because the truth is that, you hear people say, try to always stay open, like learn something from everyone.
Right.
And I think that there's nothing more true in my life than that statement. Okay. Right. Because guys like that guy taught me how to live again. Right. Taught me how to be able to show up and be comfortable in my own skin. And not have this problem where I'm always reaching for something to pour on, or for comfort.
Yeah.
Right? Or just the ability, just taught me how to live life sober. Because that was a problem.
Relive.
Right. That told me, or maybe live life sober. I don't know. 18 years of pouring something, of doing something, whether it was on the weekend or like, there's this guy who says like, I'm like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. What am I trying to put in myself that's not already there?
Okay.
right?
Right.
So like for 18 years, there was always something, whether it was alcohol, weed, steroids, something,
Right.
you know? And you know, and that was like a big eye opener. And you know, thank God for guys like this 26-year-old guy. I'm not saying there were much older people, there were young, you know, but like that experience for me, you know, was part of the whole ego deflating experience.
And it left an impression, obviously.
Very much so. Yeah. Because it made me realize like you can learn stuff from everyone.
And everybody's going through it.
And everybody's going through their own. Yeah, for sure. Everybody, we're all human.
That's the one thing. Like you said, Gary, like, you know, like people, I was talking to my kid the other day. I talk to them a lot. And they're like, well, you know, you see this online. I'm trying to explain to him, listen, people put what they want you to see online.
Right.
It's not real life.
Right.
It's
not always. Yeah.
Right. It's always kind of like, oh, you get the ranter on Facebook that wants to share everything. But most of the time, people are just putting their highlights.
Right.
And I'm telling you, they're putting the highlights up there, bro. What is it that you want? Like, and you know, like, cause I'm trying to, he's in his last year of college. And I'm trying to talk to him about, oh, what, you know, what's next?
Right.
You know what? Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I said, that sounds cool, but why? And as you start digging into a why, you start seeing if the true motivating factor is there for the right reason, or did they just see that somewhere and it sounds cool?
What does he want to do?
Oh, he wants to make $1 billion.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he's in the right. He's right.
There you go.
He's got the right aspirations.
I'm like, but why? Right? So that cool, but why? And then we get stuck. Because I'm like, I'll tell you my why. I was like, I got to take care of the family. The more I can make, the more I can help. Like, I can give you my why. My why goes to the 10th degree. But I told him I came from a deficiency where we had nothing. Where, you know, like grandma couldn't eat until I finished eating. You know, I was like, I'm not trying to bring you to tears, but that's where I came from.
Right.
You don't come from that. You come from where we're ordering from. You come from, I want to be on 3 travel teams. You like totally different. I was like, so it's just surprising to me to hear that that's the goal, like the goal, why the goal. Right. And that's when we get stuck off.
Yeah. The idea that money does not equal happiness.
It's not the end all. It's not the end all. It's a tool.
Makes life easier.
Gives you options.
Right. Gives you, and it's, you know, and you can do more for the people you love as far as making their life a little bit easier. But I don't think that, you know, you see some of the people that are the most poor people in the world are the happiest people.
Yeah. In itself, it's almost like a financial tool. It's a tool, like a hammer. Like you want to build a house, you need a hammer. You want to do certain things in your life, you need money. Same concept, but it doesn't make you happy. Like, just, I give you $1 million tomorrow. If you're not financially illiterate, you'll be broke again. Right?
I say this. Go ahead. Sir.
If you can't manage $100, you can't manage $1 million.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, there's this like, you know, happiness is not like a destination.
Right. It's a journey.
Yeah, and it's a journey. Yeah, exactly. It's a journey. There is no happy land.
Right.
I'm either happy on this journey.
You're happy on the way.
We're happy on the way. Or not.
Yeah,
you know. So I got to figure out a place like, how do I find happiness right here, like right now? And that's like you know, like they say, staying in the present moment. You know, if I'm worrying about the past, there's this expression like, if I got one leg in yesterday and one leg in tomorrow, I'm pissing on today.
Yeah, I never heard that one. Okay. Yeah. But I think that that leads to, and I think that this generation now has some sort of anxiety. Because of that, because of what they see, and then COVID, you know, kind of just accelerated it. Yeah, it just kind of accelerated everything. Where like all they see what's on their screens, and you know, like they lost a year of real experience.
So you're saying that the younger generation has anxiety in general, thinking about the future?
No, because they're busy trying to filter what's reality. You have different forms of reality. You have real life here. You have real life on the screen, but you have scripts. You have people just angling things to look better than they actually are. And, you know, like, and I'm telling them, be happy in your own skin. If you want to be there, that's cool. Right. But don't be unhappy until you're there. You'll get there. You know, if you put the work in. That becomes the secret word, work, where everybody wants to end, bro. At the end, they want to go to the end of the story. Nobody wants to go through the middle. 100%. You know, so that's what I'm starting to see with this generation. I constantly kind of find myself keep talking about the same shit. I'm like, yo, guys, you can do it, but there's gonna be some fucking heavy work involved. And that's the part where they don't, you know, I just want, you know, and I believe like Bitcoin and all these things. Oh, God. Yeah, all these things just, they kind of exacerbate an existing instant gratification model.
Yeah, it's gambling.
Right. Instant gratification.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, instant gratification model for this generation.
And I did it.
Because nobody wants to, all right, well, if I do this, I'll make this, and, you know, I can use this. And no, I want to take $100 and make $1 million. What can that, Bitcoin. Oh, let's do that. No offense, Darren. I know you invested. But, you know, like, it's not the only thing. There's steps to it, right? And you gotta love that shit. You gotta love the suck. You gotta love the fucking burn, because sometimes when you're deep in the dirt and you look up, you get some sort of perspective.
Yeah.
I think I struggle with my kids because it's a gift and a curse where I want to give them everything.
Right.
But then I want them to know certain things and they can't because they never experienced those things because I didn't let it happen.
Right.
So they're developing a whole bunch of skills that I'm sure I don't have, but certain skills that help me get to where I am. There's no way to remimic those. There's I got to figure that part out.
Yeah.
As a parent, I'm still learning.
I don't actually have any. I have a dog and 2 cats.
Okay.
So I have no experience with the, I can
children?
learn a lot from you.
I
will be default, God willing, if I have kids.
I got 26, 21, 18.
Oh yeah. I'm
3
calling you when that time comes. How do I do this? No, I think when we were talking, you were talking about people in general, like, the younger generation. My experience with anxiety and all that stuff has been like my expectations, and still to this day is when I have expectations.
Expectations of self?
Expectations of others, expectations of self, expectations of certain situations. I mean, if I'm not if I'm not happy, there's always the old result is the cause is always because my expectations.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
It didn't meet up to my expectations.
Right.
There's like a friend of mine, Ray, like talking to somebody, and he said, he was like, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Well, you want to be happy? Change your expectations. Yeah. He's not the problem. Yeah. Your expectations are the problem. You want to be happy? Change your expectations. Then you won't be unhappy. That's kind of like a very, so I think having expectations of certain things, it doesn't mean that I'm not reaching. I'm not saying not to have, to shoot high or have high, high demand.
Are you talking about like business expectations right now? Or
life in general. I mean, because business is business is
part of life.
Part of life. Yeah. So expectation, because how do I differentiate the two? Like, how do I say, all right, I'm not going to have expectations in personal life, but I'm going to have them in business, or vice versa. Right. I think that for me, it's like do the best that I can and show up. And the result is going to be what the result is going to be. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. As long as you're as best prepared as you are,
then that's it.
Right.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I can't worry, because we were talking about anxiety. So that made me think, like, I can't worry about what the result is going to be, because then it even prohibits me from showing up properly. Right. Right. So I show up to do the best that I possibly can, and the fucking result is the result. That doesn't mean I'm okay with it not going well. It just means that what else could I have done?
You did the best you could.
And I learned.
Right.
I learned and adapt where I could have done better, and then try it again next time. That helps me still to this day with anxiety. Sometimes I get anxiety, I don't even realize it, except in the way that I act out. Right. Or in the way that I might handle a certain situation. And I don't, that's all speculation. I'm kind of like self-reflecting right now.
Self-analyzing.
Self-analyzing. Yeah. Like I don't know that I don't have the anxiety. Like, I remember the anxiety where I couldn't get out of fucking bed. That was like a whole different, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if, that was like, and I never experienced that before. I think I was telling you that this morning. I thought that was like a sign of weakness, like suicidal thoughts or like depression and like anxiety. If you're like really, like, get over it kind of deal, not something to get over when you're in it at all.
It's tough because, everybody has to cycle through process. Our processes are all different, and nobody can tell you when you should process faster. Like, everybody has their own,
especially grief.
Way, yeah, absolutely,
especially grief,
absolutely, and nobody can tell you to do it better their way. They can empathize, but at the end of the day, like, I'm using myself as an example. Like, I had to go through my shit. Like, just for example, like, when she got really bad, my mom got really bad. I'm a stress eater. I didn't know that. Bro, I was eating I was like, right before the hospital, I was like, the hot dogs, I was like, like, my son's like, damn, Dad. I was like, I know. And then I gained like 50 pounds. Like, shit. I was like, I know that about myself now, and I try to calm that down. But I'm like, I didn't realize that. But these are things, if you pay attention, you'll learn yourself and how to kind of navigate yourself. Because like, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, everything, anything.
I get it.
Anything in sight. I was like, and I was like, wow. And like, it's comfort food and stuff like that. So,
and not even noticing. That's the thing, is the not even noticing it. But any like, drugs, alcohol.
Well, I was gonna say, like, sex, use that as alcohol,
food,
anything,
gambling,
right?
Going shopping at Woodbury Commons and walking out with 15 bags. I'm not even
for nothing.
That same euphoric feeling. My friend Brian talks about that all the time. But like, anything that'll give you that relief, that release or that rush. Those are things that I identify with for sure. And they come from, obviously, eating for sure. Still struggling with that.
Wing review coming up soon.
Wing review out next Friday with me shoving wings in my mouth.
All right, so boom, we shut down the other company, right? And now, when do we decide we're going back into the game? Was there a point where you said, you know what, I really can't do this. I feel like I'm in a better place.
Yeah. So I said I'm out of the moving industry. Okay. Right. Recovery is my focus. Right. And it was said to me, like, if you want to stay alive, if you want to keep this gift that's given to you, you're going to need to give it back to other people. Okay. If you're doing this just to get better and take more for yourself, and then plan on running away with it, it'll never work. And I've seen that happen before. And I was like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to go, and the idea of helping other people didn't seem so bad to me. It seemed like a good deal. I get to live, I help other people. It's a win-win. So I think for the first 2 years, like, my whole life was recovery. Okay. Like, I would, I went to outpatient treatment. I was involved in 12-step program. I did retreats. I did, the whole deal. Okay. Every part of it is immersed, on at least 5-6 days a week. Wow. Yeah. And because, like, what else? What's the point if I can't stay sober?
Yeah, it was serious. Yeah. So like, you were deep in the abyss.
Yeah. So I did that, and I turned my obviously I turned my phone back on once I completed the outpatient treatment program. I had my phone back on, and I would get these calls.
Randos.
It was from 2007 to like 2014 or 15. That so like 7-8 years in the moving business that I had. 2000, maybe 15. I don't know, whatever. So 7-8 years that I had the moving business, I had developed like a really huge network. I mean, we were doing things where I had I had 2 locations. The second location was strictly sales. I had 8 salespeople in the office, and we were booking jobs. Selling. Right. We were booking jobs because I took advantage of the phone book, what was left of the phone book. And I did only a pay-per-call program, meaning I didn't pay the Yellow Pages unless the call lasted more than 90 seconds.
Nice. Okay.
How the fuck can you be? So we were booking jobs from like California, somebody moving from California to Texas.
Wow.
From New York. Didn't touch the job. Right.
So all you did was a subcontractor out?
Right. I'd have a local moving company that I had a relationship with, pick it up in California. Right. I would have a long distance hauler that I have a relationship that was an independent owner operator that worked for us. Right. Did their own stuff also, but worked for us. Would swoop into California and pick up the shipment, deliver it out to Texas, offload in Texas. We would get paid. We didn't touch a thing. They paid us. They dealt with us. They did through, I guess, our authority, and we coordinated it. At a certain point, like, that's where we started to lose, like, I'm also doing things I shouldn't be doing. And we're doing all this like extensive, very intricate type of work. Moving, yeah. And, you start to lose control of quality. And then, people are, upset. And when you don't respond to them,
they get more upset. And
what before was like a cup is now like is now like, right. Yeah. It's like gallons. Right. Yeah. So where was I? Because you're going to have to reel me back in.
So
here.
Then, all right. So we're in recovery. We're finishing our outpatient. You said you're winding down the other business. Right. Right. And so now I want to know how we get back into the business.
How we got back into the business. Yeah. So, how I got back into the business. My phone was on, meaning like my old company telephone numbers were still on.
You had the numbers on, right?
Right. Which is about 6 numbers. A toll-free number was still on, and these jobs would come in, and I was giving a lot of the jobs away to people that I knew that were still in the.
You just signing them.
Right. I was just giving them, you call this person. And occasionally I would go out and do a job, and I was just like, and I would do the job, and I would do it with, like spiritual principles behind it. Okay. Which is really, like
you wanted to be of service.
I was doing
That's what I'm hearing.
I remember a guy telling me like moving can be a spiritual experience for people. Right. Meaning like, and a spiritual experience is not like this white light burning bush thing, but it could be where there's love, tolerance, respect, patience, understanding, right? Where there's just where it's an emotional time for somebody where you can show up for them.
It's a major metamorphosis time, I believe, moving in a positive or negative way. Like for me, I had the house in the Bronx. I was moving to Westchester as well as a goal. We moved. It was great. I felt like I accomplished something. So for me, that was one part of it. So I can identify with that. So you wanted to go on jobs to...
I was going on... Well, I mean, of course, we go on jobs to make money. Right. Money is the result. Money is the result of doing a good job. But what I started to realize, I think, at that point was that, like, if I was going to go out, I didn't... More important to me was recovery. Okay. And still to this day. Right. More important than any work that obviously was recovery. But I was charging more than I had charged before, and we were offering a higher level of service. Okay. Right. And I realized I started to realize we were doing some jobs, and, I was like, well, maybe I'll do something like, I don't know. I flip houses,
Okay.
I don't know.
Something
Let me get
else.
into something else,
Right.
and the phone kept ringing. And then COVID, I think, so, we were doing more moves, and then I still wasn't sure if I was going to start jump on board with another moving business. Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. And
so
then,
this is recent.
Yeah. COVID. Well,
All
we
right.
were for
So COVID's 2019.
right. So I think in 2018 was where I was still doing jobs and figuring out deciding what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And then when COVID hit, moving started. People
Stopped.
No.
It was picked up.
Yeah, there was people
exodus.
moving companies thrived during COVID.
Okay.
I hate to say it,
No.
but it's the God's honest
There's
truth.
some companies.
There's no
got
moving
destroyed.
company that didn't thrive during COVID.
Okay.
It just everybody local, long distance doesn't make a difference.
Everybody wanted to move.
Everybody wanted to move. So we started. All of a sudden, the phone started ringing so much more.
Were you an essential business?
Yeah, moving is essential.
Where? Okay.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't know.
Moving
Okay.
is essential. Yeah. And whatchamacallit, and just the phone, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. It was I blamed the people and the industry for why I was having such a hard time at the end. Just like I blamed all my friends for being wrong.
You blame everybody else.
It was the customers that were too difficult, and they had these expectations, and they were looking for the cheapest mover and wanted the best price, and then the people in the moving industry were shady, and it was hard. The vendors, everybody had their hand in your pocket. These are all the thoughts that were, and the truth was, none of them were the problem. I was the problem.
Right. But it takes you to admit that.
Right.
Right.
And
Nobody
then
can tell you that.
Right. And then I realized all right, well, if you don't want a certain type of customer, don't service that type of customer.
Market for that customer. Right.
It's
I think
not-
we talked about that this morning.
Right, yeah.
If you're looking for I believe customers become, if we market it correctly, they should be reflections of ourselves, right?
Okay,
People like me, my next move is I want to buy a big summer house in Puerto Rico and Airbnb it. Because every time I go out there, I want to stay in
I heard that's the way to go.
Yeah, I want to stay in an 8-bedroom, 10-bathroom house. So I told my wife, I said, next year we're going to buy a house in Puerto Rico. I'm going to fucking pimp it out. And even if nobody rents it, I don't care because it's where I want to be at, right? Because right now we were looking at houses to go away real fast, and I couldn't find one to my, my expectations or my standards. Call me bougie, call me whatever, but I know how I want my experience to be my experience.
Right.
And I want clients like me. When I do that part, or even when it comes to loans, I want the lowest this, I want the lowest that. I was like, yeah, you can get the lowest this if this, and this lines up. In lending, there's so many different variables that affect something. So I can't call them all. Say if everything lines up right, this can be possible. If this is off, then, there'll be fluctuations to that. But if a client's not willing to work with you and understand that, hey man, every path is different, every move is different. You can't be the same price for everybody. It's not the same house. It's not the same, difficulty. I don't know if you charge more for going up 5 stories.
It's really time. It's
but
time.
it takes time.
It takes
to
time.
go
If
up
it takes
5
more,
flights.
it costs more. Yeah, it takes more time. It
absolutely.
costs more time.
Right. So, if a client's not willing to understand that, then I don't think that's the client for me.
Right. We talked at the beginning about the importance of the video chat.
Yeah.
So I'll give you just an example. This literally happened. It was a client that was referred by a friend of mine who has a smaller moving company who said, look, I don't think we're equipped
Can't handle it. Yeah.
to handle. This is like a 6,000 square foot house. It's just
Jeez.
not something that I'm able to do.
Service.
Right. Great guy, hell of a guy, but just, you go to move a 6,000 square foot house, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to destroy the house, or destroy a lot of it. Right. Or just
destroy the shit in the house.
Yeah. Right. So, I was like, all right. So I said, I'll call her to set up a video chat. Right. And he had taken pictures. He went there to do his assessment, I guess. And he's taking pictures from memory. And, even when we weren't doing video chats, right? So just before COVID, right? I would go to some people's houses, right? I would write things out, right? And I would look. Not that maybe if I had a question about something, I might take a picture of one item. I don't, But so I said to the lady, like this is our process. We'll set up a video chat, and it'll be a recorded video chat. You can have a copy of it.
Let's walk through the house.
We'll walk through the house because
Also, that app I sent you will be really, when you look into it.
I didn't look into the app. The thing you texted me the other day.
It's dope. It saves the roll to your phone, and you can send it to them. But both of you have to give permission to record.
Gotcha.
It's pretty dope. But anyway, that's another conversation.
So I said, and she was like, She said to me, I feel like it's a little intrusive having like, you like video chat and then like you recording it. And I said to her, I said, I was like, I didn't want to say it rudely, but like, you're going to have 6 guys that you don't know in your house within 2 weeks that you never met.
And now all of a sudden a video chat's problem.
Right. Like, these guys are going to be going through your closets and everything. Like, I would want to meet the mover that was coming out there. Like, I'd want to know who it was that I was dealing with, so you don't want to say it like that because that's rude, but I did say it because I don't, even if it's like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'd rather give somebody the truth, right, than like sidestep around their feelings, especially when it comes, as you know, in business, then you have things that go wrong if you're not straightforward.
If you don't give them some sort of preface, then all of a surprise, it's all your fault. So
I think the end of that conversation was like, look, as much as I would be honored to help you with your move, like this is our company policy. And if the beginning of the process, we're not on the same page, then moving forward, it's not going to work because if I'm already having to change my company structure in certain areas to accommodate things that you would do. Not that I'm not willing to accommodate. We'll do fucking cartwheels in front of the customer house if it makes them happy.
Right, but you have to diagnose what you're doing.
In order for me to be able to do the move properly. So the benefits of just the benefits of those video chats are, as I'm walking around, let's say your house, right, and I have a clipboard, I have to make sure I don't walk into a fucking wall or trip over something, right? So I have to be aware of my surroundings. That little awareness takes me off of takes a percentage of what I can be looking at, right? Also, as you're talking and I'm walking around, my penmanship, I have to be able to keep track with, and not trip over things, keep track of writing down everything like that. Between that and my memory is how I make my assessment of what you're moving. Right? If I'm sitting comfortably, right, at my desk in my office, right, or one of the moving coordinators
scroll back and forth on your video.
Right, and it's being recorded. Everything that you request is documented, right? If I'm not sure of it and I want to go back and watch it, I can do that. If my project manager wants to play it back for the foreman before they come out there the day of the move, and they do, right? The foreman knows everything we discussed as if you had that conversation directly with him 30 minutes before he got to your house. Right. There's no better way to deliver service than that. And that's what I mean. It's the only good thing that came out of COVID in that regard. It's like it takes the quality of service that we're offering
to the next level,
to a whole nother level. And also we provide you that recording. Like you want to go and shop other movers or see what, like you could just send them and say, give me a quote based on this.
Do you do junk removal too?
We do junk removal.
All right. So I'm sorry. That was a random.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we do junk removal.
Junk removal. Okay.
Not in trucks. We have dumpsters. They're like roll-off dumpsters. So it's a hydraulic.
So you drop it off in front of the house?
It's not it's not a roll-off. Sorry. It's a hydraulic dumpster. Okay. Roll-off, it's not a roll-off because
they leave in front of your house. And
roll-offs are like these big metal dumpsters that they're just big lunks of metal and they tear into the concrete sometimes. They're also huge. They don't fit in driveways. They don't have plates on them. Right. So our hydraulic, they would fit onto like the back of a truck. They have like a hinge that goes into the back of the truck. Okay. Like not a gooseneck, but it just clip onto a hinge. And it's a trailer, and it's hydraulic, and we can leave it in the driveway. It's got plates on it, so you can leave it in front of the house. Okay. Right. And
how many do you get a lot of junk removal?
1 a week.
1 a week?
Maybe 1 every 2 weeks.
How many moving jobs do you do a week?
I would say like an average of 7 to 14 jobs a week.
A busy week is 14.
A busy week is 14. Yeah, a very busy week.
Now this is just New York, or we're going all
Tri-state.
Over? Tri-state. Okay. Yeah. New York, Connecticut, Jersey.
Correct. Busy week is 14. An average would be 7. I think a bit busy average. No, so that you would be between 7 and 14. So the average would be, what's the average of that? It's 18. 18.
11. 7 to 14.
7 to 14. Sorry, 11. Yeah. Wow.
To 18.
Don't go by my math.
I do the math here. The math.
7 to 14. So 11 would be the average. Yeah, that's very accurate. Yeah, very accurate. But I'm looking, in the wintertime, that could be a lot more. Like, so we'll see what this winter holds for us. But in the wintertime, it's like, especially in the holidays, it's sometimes really slow. Like there could be, there could be 4 or 5 days with 0 work in the wintertime.
So COVID hit, you got crazy busy. You decided to go full force back into moving.
Yes.
Okay. And then now 2020, we're still progressing nicely.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna dive into something, I'm gonna dive into it whole. I'm not gonna half-ass it. I just don't half-ass anything. Right. I'm, it's either I do it 100% or I don't do it at all.
That's a great way to be. Yeah.
So,
that's an addictive personality.
Yeah, very much.
I think I have that same personality because now home improvement's my new addiction. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, do that, and they do it, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks great. The rest of the room like shit. All right, listen, paint the whole fucking room. Like that's what's been happening to me.
100%.
He's like, do you want me to just paint this wall? I'm like, no, we have to paint everything. We have to do everything. So yeah, to get it done right. You can see a wall that's been painted recently in an old wall, and you're like, this looks like shit. So, like today's morning, he was like, oh, do you want me to just paint this wall or just the whole thing? I'm like, the answer. It's fucking whole wall.
I think that there's maybe I don't know if there's a doubt. Like, I think if I can't like get comfortable, right? Like if I'm always like 100% or 0, then I find that's like sometimes like not a comfortable place for me, because like I'm never in just a place of neutrality.
Right.
But I do believe that, like, to your point, that's like the difference between, like if going 80% or 70% of something is like, where am I really?
Well, then that's what I believe that's what separates you to become the top 10 or top 1% of your business, right? Because there's a lot of guys, kind of going back to you in 08, 09, you kind of like in it, but not really, like whatever, whatever, you're grinding yourself out to dirt. A lot of people are that's their normal. That's their normal. You had to go through your up and down to kind of find your center to now know this is who I am, this is who I like to be, right?
Yeah.
It took me a while, like in the beginning in 05 when I first started, when you first start, you take any client, right? Because you have no clients, right? So 2016, 2017, I got 10 years in. I'm like, all right, I've kind of targeted what my client is. This is who I want my client to be. And then when mom got sick in 2017, I had a mass cleansing. Like I would tell clients, look, man, I don't know when I'll be back in the office. So I don't know if I should do it for you. And my biggest transactions that year, I remember them all. They weren't that many, but they were big. They were all like multi-million-dollar deals. Those people were the best people. They were like, look, man, we understand it, but we want you to do it. So on your timeline, you do it. Just text us, or we'll text you if you can't get it because you're your mom. We get it. Best to your mom. And that to me was a revelation because it became more, I'm not a commodity anymore. I was humanized, right? People, and I saw the people that
customers you want
had humanity, and they were very like me. They were like, yo, man, I want you to take care of it on your time. That's cool. But we have to get it done before, whatever, like July, some real timelines. Not tomorrow. I need you tomorrow. If you don't come back tomorrow, you're out. You're fired. I had clients like that too. I was like, look, man, I'm not rolling like that right now. I can't give you that type of service. Like I just sent you my tax return tonight. I need an approval by tomorrow. I was like, nah, I'm not the guy. And that was a revelation to me. And that's how I rolled forward into 2018, 2019, Now I'm like, look, I take any client. Don't get me wrong. I'll take any client. You can call me. But, I'm a person. I have a family. So like if I'm not on it the same minute, maybe something happened. But when I'm at my desk, things are moving. Things are always moving. But sometimes now we're doing this stuff, right? Like I have to do this because I believe working on my business is just as important as working in my business. Because how do with COVID, that stopped a lot of, I don't even think the social, the networking events to me, I've hosted some, they're cool. Most people go in there to drink, and I'm like, that's not really my thing. So
not my thing anymore.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, this to me is the better medium for me.
Social media.
Yeah, social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've gotten so much more.
And to me, this is like hanging out. This is like my new hangout. Like we hang out. This is the first time we're meeting in person. We're chopping it up, really getting to know each other on the next level. And I believe that's going to perpetuate more business.
Absolutely.
Because we tend to genuinely like each other. Whereas you can also sit down and be like, I don't like this guy. Fuck this guy. All right, I'm cutting.
Well, also at a networking event, like how many people can you actually have a conversation with, or like learn more about that person? Because if I'm investing in a conversation with you, like I'm not paying attention to what Darren's doing. I haven't looked at poor Darren once this whole time.
He's eating wings over there.
Yeah,
we love you, Darren.
So if, when I'm engulfed, if I'm truly involved in a conversation, like how many different people can you network with at networking?
So it becomes going deeper over wider. Or a shotgun with a sniper, same whatever analogy you want to use.
Social media is the 100% the networking fucking.
Well, I think so because you could put all your information out there, and if somebody's interested, they can look at their leisure, right? Because that becomes the whole thing too. Like everybody's time is limited, right? Like when I'm in the business, like yesterday, I wasn't on the phone at all. I was working in the business. I had 4 deals that were all over the place, and I had to like focus my energy. But my posts still go out. My stuff is still on it. My website's still out. My ebook is still out. So people can still touch me or get a flavor.
Right.
But I don't have to be there all day.
Right.
And that becomes the big thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And
we were talking about the ebook this morning.
Yeah, you can drop
I'm
one.
definitely going to do it. 100%.
You're going to drop an ebook, guys. So get ready.
Coming.
All right, guys. So listen, I'm going to wrap this up. If they need to contact you for moving, how can they contact you? And look at the camera when you say that.
At the NY Mover.
What, Instagram?
Yeah. I mean, if you that's it.
Is there a phone number you want to give out?
Yeah, of course. Of course. But go to my Instagram.
Don't call me.
Toll free, 866-MOVE-186.
That's a good number. That's a good number. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. All right. Because we can keep on going. All right, Darren, thank you.